Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Stephanie and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be bringing you a very different style of video to this channel especially. Some of you guys around the panning community may know Nobody's Beauty Guru or Julie, but she also has a book channel and I also follow her on Instagram, and every month she does a little list of books that she wants to read, and that month it's called the TBR. I've accumulated a lot of books that I requested for Christmas, and I also have a couple books that I haven't read yet that I've had in a stockpile that I have been wanting to during this Christmas break, so I thought it would be a perfect idea to do a little TBR video. And I know that books isn't normally what I talk about here, but it is an interest of mine, and so I thought, why not? One of my first videos was actually like a vlog style of me seeing Les Mis on Broadway, and I have plans of doing a little vlog of a couple shows that I'm seeing in the future. This channel to me is like a combination of everything that I find interest in, and reading and books and writing possibly is one of my interests, and so I thought it'd be very fun to share with you books that I'm planning to read during January during my Christmas break. So the first book that is on my TBR is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Now, I have a confession that I've never actually sat down and read all of the Harry Potter books. When I was younger, all the movies started coming out. When I mean I was younger when the movies came out, I mean like I was in elementary school when Harry Potter became really, really popular. And I became obsessed with watching all of the movies, and I did have an interest in reading all the books, but when I sat down to actually read the books, I was like, oh, it's nothing like the movie, and so I stopped reading it. Well, I haven't watched the movies in a while purposely because I wanted to not really remember as much detail in what happened in each storyline because I wanted to read the books. This past summer I read The Order of the Phoenix, and like I hated that one. I feel like I'm the only one that hates Order of the Phoenix. My friend was like, I'm really sorry you didn't like it because it's my favorite book in the series. I felt bad because I completely badmouthed her favorite book in the series. My point of that whole story is I got traumatized from the fifth book of not wanting to go down the same loophole with the Half-Blood Prince, so that's why I haven't read it since the summer, since I read Order of the Phoenix. So this has to be done in January because I might want to start the last book either during January or sometime in the beginning of the semester before it gets really, really, really crazy for me. So this is definitely on my TBR for January. Next book that's on my TBR is, it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. But this past summer, I went to Barnes & Noble for a couple hours while my parents were shopping around at Costco. I picked out this book and another book. The other book I actually finished, but this book I kind of started and I didn't completely finish it, and by kind of started I mean I probably read 3 pages and that was about it. I really enjoy the premise of this book, and out of the first couple pages that I read, I really did enjoy the story so far, and so I'm hoping that I can get this story done. Now, my only concern is that like I'm not going to be able to read these 2 Gigundo books. And I think I'll be able to, only because this is more heavy and more attention to detail, and I'm not saying that this one isn't, but the way that this book is written, I feel like it's more relatable, and I feel like it's some kind of dialogue that I'll be able to read faster, as opposed to the Harry Potter book where I want to like sit down and make sure I'm grasping everything that J.K. Rowling is trying to say. So those are the 2, like, I don't want to say legitimate books, but those were like the 2 novel-esque books that are on my TBR for January. The next 2 books I'm going to show you are poetry books. I requested for a lot of poetry books. For some reason, I am just suddenly drawn to poetry recently, and I find it's a good way to just like clean your mind or like relate to something and be able to speak your mind, or I don't know. I just find it really, really awesome. So the first poetry book that I have on my TBR is Adult Lessons by Gabby Hanna, aka The Gabby Show. I have been eyeing this for so long, and I finally bit the bullet and I bought it for myself for a little Christmas present. You always know that when you go into a store and you're buying for other people, you just have to buy something for yourself. This was my purchase for myself in Barnes & Noble. I flipped through the illustrations and kind of peeped at some of the poetry, and it all looks really, really good, so I'm very excited to dive into this. And another poetry book that I'm very excited to dive into is Milk and Honey by Rapui. I don't know how to say her name. I'm not going to try to butcher it, but this has been hyped up, especially around all of my friends and everyone where I live, for a very long time. So I'm so excited to finally take a dip into this poetry book. Now, I want to say with the two poetry books, I don't want to rush through the poetry books, and I feel like that's going to be my thing with all of the poetry books that I have. I don't want to rush through them just for the sake of finishing a book. I want to actually take my time with all of them and like figure out what each one means in the context in which the author wrote them, and figure out what it means and how I can relate it to my life as well. And so that's why I'm really, really excited to dive into the poetry books. But this is all that is in my TBR for January. Hopefully I am able to finish all of these books. Hopefully I didn't bite off as a bigger bite than I can chew, but I think I can do this. I think, especially with me putting good vibes into the universe of making a YouTube video about it, that I'm actually going to sit down and read and finish all these books that I really want to. But besides that, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video and for my first TBR video. Hopefully I can continue this more than 1 month. I know once school starts settling in for me, I'm going to be so crazy that I don't really want to make beauty videos, let alone want to sit down and try to read a book to try to finish something off of a TBR. So hopefully I can figure out a way to read while still in the middle of a semester of college, but I highly doubt that'll happen. So that's why I wanted to sit down and make a little TBR for January. So hopefully you enjoy this video. I know I certainly am excited to read all of these books, but until next time, thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye, guys.